So recently I was listening to a podcast with Ryan Holiday, who speaks and writes about using Stoic Philosophy in daily life, and something that he said really resonated with me. He told the story about Shaka Smart, who is a friend of his, where he asked Shaka how the weather was treating him at Marquette, a school situated in the frigid part of northern Michigan. Shaka's response? I'm a dress for the weather type of guy. This response spoke to me because it shows that Shaka's mentality, whether he realizes it or not, boils down to this idea of controlling what you can control. Shaka knows that he can't change the weather, so instead of complaining about it, he puts on his jacket and goes to work. In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 lessons you can use to train your basketball mind to be more resilient so that it won't hold you back from success. Now, you might be thinking that the mind isn't very important to success in basketball, but if anything, I would actually argue that the mind is the one thing that every person has the tools to take advantage of to accelerate past your peers in whatever stage of the basketball journey you are in. Now, I try to use these ideas consistently in my own basketball life, but I want to make it clear as we go through this journey together that I'm still growing every day. It's never perfect. Lesson 1, control what you can control. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoics who ever lived, said, "Make best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." Understand that you can't change anything that is outside of your control. You can only change how you react to those things. In basketball, we tend to get frustrated if a teammate doesn't throw us an extra pass or a coach isn't giving us the minutes we think that we deserve. But in reality, that frustration is futile. I remember back in high school, I would drive an hour to AAU practice about 2 times a week to play for a higher level team. I would get to practice about 15 minutes early every time. However, my teammates would almost never show up on time. Practice would usually go late, so I wouldn't get home till 10 or 11 at night, completely frustrated by the whole operation, knowing I had to go to school the next morning. But something changed. At some point, I realized I couldn't control what time my teammates got to the gym or what time practice ended or what time I got home. So each practice, I would continue to get there early, I would work as hard as possible, and I would drive home knowing that I did all that I could to help the team. Make the most of the situation that you're in by not complaining about things that aren't up to you. Then you'll put your energy and focus into things you can control, like building the habit of showing up on time to every practice and being the best teammate you can be. The simplest version of this in basketball is that when you miss a shot, frustration will only make you more inclined to miss the next shot. That first shot that you missed is literally dead. You can't revive it or change it. All you can do is try and make the next one. Randy Pausch said, "Complaining does not work as a strategy. We all have finite time and energy. Any time we spend whining is unlikely to help us achieve our goals, and it won't make us happier." Lesson 2, be willing to be uncomfortable. Ryan Holiday says that all growth is on the other side of resistance, and I think that this is an extremely important mentality to have as you go about your basketball journey, especially if you are a younger player. The more you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, the more you will grow as a player and also as a human being. When I was in 5th grade, my local AAU team got destroyed by a team from Trenton, New Jersey. It seemed like before the game was even over, my mom was on the sideline talking to the coach of the other team, trying to figure out a way for me to play for his team. A few days later, my mom practically had to drag me to practice in Trenton because I was such a shy, insecure kid, scared of entering a foreign basketball situation. Joining that team was one of the most important aspects of my basketball development and my life, as I began to play in a place that was so different from where I grew up. I was extremely lucky to have a mom who knew what was best for me, who knew it would make me a better person no matter how the experience went. As I've gotten older, I've gotten better and better at saying yes to situations that I know will bring me discomfort in the short term, but growth in the long term. For instance, this past summer, I spoke at a camp in front of over 200 kids about my basketball journey. I was extremely nervous going into it, thinking of all the things that could go wrong, but instead it went great. And I was actually extremely gratified when campers would come up to me to ask questions afterwards. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations can't help but increase your mental stamina. Then, the next time you face a challenging situation you may not feel ready to perform in, you realize you've been there before. You've gotten through it before. You were made to put yourself in challenging situations, and no matter the outcome, you will grow. Lesson 3, allocate your energy with intention. There is a really easy way to see if the things you are doing in your life are worth spending time and energy on, or if they aren't. Think about a goal you might have. Let's say that goal is to play college basketball. All the things that you exert energy on are going to fall into 1 of 2 categories. This thing is helping me achieve my dream of playing college basketball, or this thing is not helping me achieve that dream. I've talked about the fact that my naivety about what it took to play college basketball actually helped me on my journey to get there. This is because all I really cared about was becoming the best basketball player I could possibly be. This meant I spent incredible amounts of time and energy training my basketball skills, lifting weights, driving to practices, watching basketball. And on the flip side, I hardly played any video games, I didn't go to high school parties or see my friends as much as I might have wished. Without realizing it, I was practicing the Stoic idea Epictetus has of persist and resist. If you are able to build the mental discipline of persisting through things that are hard, but will ultimately help you achieve your goals, and you can resist the things that are fun and easy but will ultimately hinder you from achieving your goals, you will give yourself the ability to achieve great things. This won't be perfect, obviously. You are going to spend times that don't directly lead to achieving your goals. But when I look back on my high school experience, I certainly don't regret the fact that I would go to school, then I would go to training, and then drive to AAU practice and get home absolutely exhausted, knowing I hadn't gotten to play Call of Duty with my friends. My discipline came from my love of playing basketball, but if you can tie that into your goals and dreams of playing college basketball, you can begin to allocate your time and energy in the most productive way. Lesson 4, stop caring what people think. There is this cliche philosophy that a lot of athletes have, which is do the work when no one is watching, or work in silence. And I think that this is actually a valid, important idea, but not for the reasons that people usually give. Someone might normally use this phrase when they are annoyed with an athlete who is constantly posting on their social media every time they go to the gym to prove to everyone that they're on the grind. And yeah, I agree, this isn't exactly helpful, but the real reason that you should be working in silence is because you shouldn't care what anybody else thinks. If you're working out every day to become a college basketball player, do that because that's your passion and your goal, not because you want people to see you as someone who is on the grind. There were times in high school where I would literally post on my Instagram story a picture of the gym I was at just so everybody could see that I was working out. And then sometimes I would proceed to do a half-hearted workout that didn't actually get me better or get me any closer to achieving my goals. What I failed to realize is that meant I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. I wasn't trying to get better for me. The cliche that is a little different that I like to implement into my life now is don't talk about it, be about it. Hustle every single day because that is your dream. That is the way to stay on the path to make that dream a reality. What's also important to understand is that people who aren't like you, who don't have an obsession like you do, aren't gonna understand your journey. I can't count the amount of times that people told me that I was the basketball guy or that all I talked about was basketball. And even though those things weren't true, I would get really insecure that people were so worried about what I was putting my effort into. But in reality, they just didn't understand because I was so driven by my passion. I love this quote from Alex Hormozi who says, "There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want. There is a reason you do what you do. Do not forget that." Strengthening your basketball mind is about teaching yourself to make the most out of the opportunity that is in front of you. You get one chance to chase your dream of college basketball. Don't let your mind be the thing that holds you back.